Just really quick before we start this video, I want to remind you guys that I did a SLAMMIN drop after a very long hiatus. It dropped last week. It's still available on the site. It's a small drop, just a few things just to get dip my toes back in since it's been so long. So if you're curious, go to the website. It's in the description below. 2 years ago, I made a kickflip video and I talked about these ideas. And I think it's good to revisit this stuff, especially when it comes to trick tips or teaching skating, because you can hear something and you can watch so many different videos, but then you click on the 10th video and you just hear the same thing said in a slightly different way, and then the light bulb can go off. So anyone who's struggling with kickflips, I hope that this video helps you.
If you've been struggling with kickflips for 2 years though, you should give up.
No, because it's slow progress. Yeah, it's about slow progress, not speed.
Give up.
It will serve you better in skating and learning other tricks if you approach this way, and if you approach it this way and actually take the time to relearn and reteach yourself, because it's going to help you with getting up obstacles, getting into grinds, flipping down stairs, and just kind of understanding the mechanics of how this works and how you can apply it to all aspects of skating, because you can utilize this in all those specific areas. About 5 years into skating, I rolled my ankle pretty bad. I had this problem, this bad habit, where I was flicking with my front foot up the board. I did a lot of kickflip 5-0s too, kickflip backside 5-0s. So I was naturally in the habit, just used to flicking up and aiming with the back truck. So when I did any kickflips, like the board just did that. So my kickflips were just shit for like 10 years. And then I really wanted a good kickflip. It's like all I wanted. I desperately wanted a good kickflip. So I put the time in to retrain that flick, which was kind of an annoying process at first. But once it started to click, it became fun. And I really ended up figuring it out. And now my kickflips are different. The first thing that you're gonna wanna do, foot positioning. Back foot on the tail. This is pretty easy, common sense stuff, what you would think. You wouldn't, I'm not gonna really say anything different, but back foot on the tail. And I like to put my foot right under the bottom top two bolts. And I put a good chunk of my foot on the board. And I'll explain why. But this works for some people. It doesn't work for me. I have an aggressive flick. So this is just, it's too delicate for me. It doesn't work. I'm very heavy footed. I'm very lead-like on the skateboard, just with like the weight and the pressure that I apply.
And you're poisonous.
Yeah, and I'm poisonous. Lead poisoning. How to kickflip. Hashtag lead poisoning. Where's this going, Dan? And what this does, this allows me to get the proper grip of the flick that I need. The problem that I have, when I put my foot down too far on the board, I'll misflick a lot. I kick too far off to the side and not enough straight off the nose. That's another point that we're gonna talk about later. What I mean by that is the board, the shoe, your foot, the shoe on your foot is gonna stick to the board, allowing the board to actually level out.
Wait, what shoe? The one on your foot, got it.
It just allows for more grip. It allows for more grip to the board. It allows for more flick. The board will level out more, because if you're flicking off to the side, it'll cause the board to flip, but it's not gonna level out because you don't have the right pressure going off the tip of the board. I like to flick straight off the nose. And I know this might sound crazy, and this might sound like, okay, well, how's the board gonna flick if you're flicking straight off the nose? When you're rolling your ankle up the board, and say like you're gonna do a 1 foot or an ollie north, you're not pointing your toe off the end of the board. So with a kickflip, you're gonna point your toe, but you wanna point your toe straight off the end of the board, because that's gonna allow it to flick. And it's gonna feel pretty weird at first. It's gonna feel like your board is super stuck to your feet, and you're gonna be like, how the fuck do people do this? I don't understand. At least that's how I thought. But trust me, just keep going with it and flick straight off the nose. What you want to do to avoid that problem of getting the board to like stick too hard to your feet is that you want to bring your legs up off the ground. So bring your knees up, bend your knees once you're in the air. You want your board to stick to the sole of your shoe. That's like the golden spot. That's what you want to feel. So again, you're gonna roll your ankle up the nose and then point your toes straight out towards the board, parallel with the board. When you're flicking your foot off of the nose, you want to get the board to stick to your foot as long as possible. And then once you're about here, that's when you flick. So there's a little bit of a delay. That was another big problem that I had, is that I was flicking way too fast. My timing was all off. So you need to delay it like a fraction of a second later and flick after you've already got the board to stick to your feet.
I'd also like to point out that this is why a lot of times when people do kickflips up stuff and over stuff, They're like, man, why are my kickflips good going up and over, but not on flat? And it's because that forces you to delay when you flick.
Yeah,
you're trying to get up
you don't
something.
even think about it. It's not even like a conscious thing.
Flip tricks are all ever so slightly late flips, all of them.
Yes. The next tip that really helped me was you want to aim to kick the board out in front of you. So you want to actually try with your flick foot to kick the board in front of you. Obviously, you don't want the board to get away. Obviously, you're not gonna kick the board in front of you to the point where the board is not in your vicinity. So you want to keep the board under you, but you want to aim to flick it out in front of you. And the best way to do that, for me, has been sitting super back seat on the tail. I stay over the back truck heavy, and when I pop and flick, instead of jumping forward with my body, I kick my board out in front of me first and then jump forward with my body. So there's a little bit of a delay there. I want to remind you that this is just for kickflips on flat ground. This isn't, because you are going to have to make adjustments when you're skating different obstacles. Like when I kickflip down stuff, it's even more delayed because since you have more time in the air, my flick is even a little more delayed and it's even softer. It's not as aggressive. I envy those people who can kickflip down stuff really aggressive and really bone it out. And I think there is a way to do that.
Thanks, Dale.
You're welcome, Dan. I don't know how to do that personally, but the way I do it down gaps is, there's more time in the air, so my flick is a little less aggressive and it's a little later. And I don't sit as far in the back seat. I'm still back seat, but not as far. I think I jump with my board a little faster than I would on flat ground. Basic rundown, back seat.
Windows up.
So you're gonna wanna sit back seat, hang out over the back truck. When you pop, get the board to stick to your feet, delay your flick, point your toe, kick the board out in front of you, and then jump with the board. Okay, should we do some?
No.
Some kickflips?
That's it.
No?
That's the video.
That's it. You don't even get to see.
Fresh out the gate. There it is.
Just kidding.
If you do a decent kickflip first try, right now, raw, do it. Then people will take your advice. Dale's good under pressure.
Okay, I hope this video helped. I hope you can go out, try some kickflips, play with this stuff, and see what works for you. See if it actually helps. Leave a comment below if it does. Also, leave a comment and let me know if you have any other tips, and we can kind of create a discussion. That way people in the comments can see if you have any tips that might have worked for you that I didn't mention. Thank you for watching. Dan has a channel obviously now, so go subscribe to his channel.
Yes, do those.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
All right, we're good. Thanks.